Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Hey, Jay! Bella called out, waving at her friend across the coffee shop. Over here! Jay spotted her and made his way through the crowded cafe, weaving between tables with a practiced ease. He dropped into the chair opposite Bella, a curious look on his face. What's up? You sounded eager when you called. Bella grinned, her green eyes sparkling with mischief. I have an idea, a project of sorts. She leaned forward, her blonde curls tumbling over her shoulders, and lowered her voice conspiratorially. I want to give you a makeover. Jay raised an eyebrow, a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. A makeover? You mean like a guy's version of a spa day? No. Bella waved her hand dismissively. I'm talking about a full-on, head-to-toe transformation. Makeup, hair, the works. I want to show you just how good you can look. Jay's smile widened, a hint of challenge in his eyes. You think you can make me look better? Oh, I know I can. Bella's voice was confident, assured. I've seen the way you dress, Jay. Those baggy jeans and boring t-shirts don't do you any favors. With the right clothes, the right accessories, and a little bit of polish, she paused, her eyes flicking downward. You could really turn some heads. Jay's gaze followed hers, his brow furrowing slightly as he realized what she was looking at. His toes, peeking out from his well-worn sneakers, were decidedly unremarkable. You want to paint my nails? Bella sat back, a satisfied smile on her face. It's a start. I mean, look at your feet, Jay. They're begging for some attention. A little color, a little shine, it'll make a world of difference. I never thought about it, Jay admitted, a note of consideration creeping into his voice. I mean, it's not like I've ever been into that sort of thing, but, he hesitated. I trust your sense of style, Bella. If you think it'll work, I'm game. Excellent! Bella clapped her hands together, her excitement bubbling over. We'll start with a pedicure. Get your toes looking pretty. Then we can move on to the rest. The rest? Jay's voice held a hint of trepidation. Bella's eyes sparkled with excitement. Oh, yes, we're just getting started. I have big plans for you, my friend. Bella's apartment smelled like fresh paint and fruity perfume. Jay sat on a plush stool in front of a small vanity, his bare feet soaking in a tub of bubbly, rose-scented water. He couldn't help but feel a little ridiculous, but the warm, tingly feeling in his stomach told him he was enjoying this more than he cared to admit. Relax, Bella said, setting a tray of colorful nail polishes on the vanity. This is going to be fun. I feel kind of silly, Jay admitted, wiggling his toes in the water. Don't be silly, Bella said, sliding onto the puff beside him and picking up one of his feet. She began to gently pat it dry with a soft towel. It's just a bit of pampering. Everyone deserves to feel pretty sometimes. Jay leaned back, surrendering his foot to her touch. I guess so, he conceded. It feels kind of nice, actually. Of course it does. Bella's voice was soothing as she smoothed lotion onto his feet, her touch sending pleasant shivers up his legs. There's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself, Jay. Nothing wrong with wanting to look and feel your best. Yeah, I guess, Jay mumbled, his eyes flitting around the room, taking in the array of makeup and skincare products on display. Bella's domain was so different from his sparse, utilitarian bachelor pad. Now, Bella continued, setting down the lotion and picking up a small file. We just need to tidy up those edges, and we'll be ready for color. Jay watched as Bella carefully shaped his nails, the soft scratch of the emery board oddly comforting. You seem to know what you're doing, he remarked. Oh, I've been painting my nails for years, Bella said with a laugh. It's kind of a ritual for me. I find it relaxing. Huh. Jay considered this, watching as Bella selected a bottle of deep crimson polish from the array before her. What made you want to do this for me? Bella smiled, her eyes holding his gaze for a moment. I just think it's time for you to explore a different side of yourself, Jay. There's more to you than you let people see. I want to help bring that out. Jay held her gaze, his heart beating a little faster. And you think painting my nails is going to do that? It's a start, Bella said softly, her thumb gently caressing the top of his foot. She squeezed gently, her touch both encouraging and challenging. Now, enough questions. Time to finish. Wow, Jay breathed, staring at his newly painted toes. He wiggled them, the deep red polish shimmering in the soft light of Bella's bedroom. That's pretty amazing. Bella smiled, clearly pleased with her handiwork. Told you, she said with a hint of triumph. Your feet look fantastic. They do, don't they? Jay sat back, a satisfied smile spreading across his face. I can't believe it. They look elegant. Exactly. Bella's eyes sparkled with satisfaction. They look elegant, refined, and that's just the beginning. Wait until we do your hands. Jay's smile faltered slightly, a hint of wariness creeping into his eyes. We're doing my hands, too? Of course, Bella said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. We can't stop halfway, can we? Besides, she added with a playful grin, you'll need something to do while your toes dry. Jay laughed, a nervous edge to his voice. All right, you've convinced me. I'm committed now. Might as well go all out. That's the spirit. Bella clapped her hands together and jumped up, disappearing for a moment before returning with a small tray. Now, for the next step, I have a surprise for you. Something a little special. Intrigued, Jay raised an eyebrow. Oh yeah? What's that? With a flourish, Bella swept away the tray, revealing a collection of sparkly, multicolored polishes. Glitter, she announced proudly. Jay's eyes widened, a mix of amusement and surprise crossing his face. Glitter? Oh yes, Bella said, her voice taking on a dreamy quality as she picked up a bottle filled with shimmering gold flakes. It's the perfect finishing touch. It'll make your nails pop. Glitter, huh? Jay considered this, his curiosity getting the better of him. All right, why not? Go for it. Bella's eyes lit up, and she set to work, carefully applying a thin coat of glitter over the deep red base. There, she said, sitting back to admire her handiwork. Now that's a work of art. Jay examined his toes, the glitter reflecting the light in a dazzling display. Wow, he breathed. That's something else. I never would have thought of that. You have to think outside the box, Jay, Bella said with a wink. That's what makeovers are all about? Pushing boundaries, trying new things? I'm definitely trying something new, Jay said, a note of wonder in his voice as he wiggled his toes, the glitter catching the light with each movement. I feel kind of liberated, I guess. Bella smiled, her expression warm and encouraging. That's the spirit. Now, we just have to let that dry, and then we can move on to the really fun part. Jay's eyebrows knitted together quizzically. More fun than this? Oh, yes, Bella said, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Much more. Makeup? Jay's voice rose with surprise as he stared at the array of cosmetics laid out before him. You want to put makeup on me? Bella, her face already artfully made up, laughed. Of course, it's all part of the transformation. You can't just stop at the nails, Jay. We're going for a full makeover here. Jay ran a hand through his hair, his eyes flicking uncertainly over the bottles, brushes, and palettes arrayed on the vanity. I don't know, Bella. I mean, I've never worn makeup before. Isn't it kind of much? Not at all, Bella said, her tone reassuring as she picked up a small pot of foundation and a fluffy brush. Think of it as an art form. We're just going to enhance what's already there. Bring out your best features. Jay studied her for a moment, taking in her own carefully crafted look. Her cheeks were flushed a delicate pink, her eyes defined with a subtle smoky hue. I don't know, he said, hesitation creeping into his voice. Won't people be able to tell? That's the whole point, silly. Bella smiled, reaching out to brush a stray lock of hair from his eyes. We want them to notice, to see you in a whole new light. Jay swallowed, a mix of emotions playing across his face. What if I don't like it? Then we'll wash it off. Bella said simply, her eyes holding his, conveying a sense of ease and acceptance. "But I think you will, Jay. I think you're going to love it." Jay held her gaze for a long moment, his breath catching slightly. "Okay," he said at last, his voice firm, resolved. "Let's do it." Bella's smile was bright, genuine. "Wonderful!" She applied a small amount of foundation to his face, expertly blending it into his skin with the soft brush. "There," she said, stepping back to admire her work. "That's a perfect match. Now we just need to add some color. Bring out those gorgeous eyes of yours." Jay's eyelids felt strange as Bella carefully applied a wash of coppery shadow, but he had to admit it did make his green eyes stand out. "This is crazy," he murmured as she added a touch of mascara, his lashes lengthening and darkening. "Crazy good, you mean?" Bella said with a laugh, her fingers already reaching for a tube of coral lipstick. "Just wait until we add some lip color. It'll bring the whole look together." Jay opened his mouth to protest, then closed it again, deciding to trust her judgment. After all, she'd been right about the nails. And the makeup, he had to admit, wasn't so bad. It felt kind of nice being fussed over like this. "There," Bella said at last, setting down the lipstick and stepping back. "All done." Jay stared at his reflection, his breath catching in his throat. He barely recognized himself. His skin looked flawless, his eyes bright and vivid, his lips full and lush. "Wow," he breathed. "I know, right?" Bella's smile was triumphant. "I told you it would look amazing." Jay's gaze flicked between his reflection and Bella's beaming face. It's incredible," he stammered. "I can't believe it's me." "That," Bella said, leaning forward to give him a playful nudge, "is the power of a good makeover. Now what do you say we show this off to the world?" After some back and forth, they went outside. "I feel ridiculous," Jay grumbled, tugging self-consciously at the hem of his shirt as they walked down the street. Bella shot him a sidelong glance, her eyes sparkling with amusement. "You look incredible," she insisted. "Stop fidgeting." "I can't help it," Jay muttered, his hand going to the neck of his top, a silky number that clung to his torso in a way that made him distinctly uncomfortable. "This thing is way too tight." "It's supposed to be tight," Bella said with a laugh. "It shows off your shape." Jay scowled, tugging again at the offending garment. "I don't want to show off my shape." Bella rolled her eyes. "You will get used to it," she said confidently. "Now stop messing with it or you'll wrinkle it." Jay huffed but complied, his eyes scanning the street as they walked. He felt exposed, vulnerable in his new outfit, a far cry from his usual slouchy jeans and t-shirt ensemble. The swish of the fabric against his legs, the constricted feeling around his middle. It was all so new, so strange. "Relax," Bella said, nudging him with her elbow. "You're doing great. Just act natural." "Natural?" Jay's voice rose in disbelief. "How am I supposed to act natural when I'm dressed like this?" Bella shot him a sidelong glance, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Just be yourself," she said with a smile. "The best part of a makeover is seeing how it changes the way you feel, the way you carry yourself. People will notice, Jay. They already are." Sure enough, as they strolled through the park, heads turned. Jay felt his face grow warm under the scrutiny, his steps faltering slightly. I can't do this, Bella," he stammered. "It's too much." Bella stopped, placing a hand on his arm, her expression suddenly serious. "Jay," she said, her voice soft but firm. "You can do this. You are doing this. Remember, it's just an experiment. We're trying new things, having some fun. Don't overthink it, okay?" Jay took a deep breath, nodding slowly. "Okay," he said, his voice steadier. "Let's keep going." Bella's smile returned, warm and encouraging. "That's the spirit. Now, come on. I want to show you something." They returned back home. "A dress?" Jay's voice rose in disbelief as he stared at the garment Bella held aloft. "You want me to wear a dress?" Bella, her expression triumphant, grinned. "Yes, it's the piece de resistance. Come on, try it on. Jay hesitated, his eyes flicking uncertainly to the dress. It was a simple design, a form-fitting sheath in a deep emerald green that matched his eyes. Somehow, that made it more intimidating. I don't know, Bella, he said, his voice small. This is a lot. I know, Bella said softly, her expression gentle. But I think you're ready for it. And I think, she added, her eyes sparkling with excitement, you're going to love it. Jay bit his lip, a mix of emotions playing across his face. Curiosity warred with uncertainty, a hint of intrigue shining through. All right, he said at last, his voice resolved. Let's do this. Bella's smile was bright, her eyes shining with delight. She held out the dress, and after a brief hesitation, Jay took it, his fingers tracing the soft fabric. It's beautiful, he murmured. So are you, Bella said simply, her voice warm and encouraging. Jay's cheeks flushed, but he said nothing, slipping away to change. Moments later, he stepped out, his posture tentative, self-conscious. The dress clung to his form, accentuating his narrow waist and broad shoulders. His legs, bare beneath the hem, felt absurdly exposed. Wow, Bella breathed, her eyes widening as she took in the sight. You look amazing! Jay's cheeks flushed deeper, but a small smile curved his lips. I do, don't I? He said softly, his voice tinged with surprise. Absolutely. Bella's voice was fervent, her eyes shining as she took in the sight. Jay, you were made to wear dresses. This is you. Jay's smile widened, a sense of wonder spreading through him. I feel amazing, he whispered, his fingers trailing over the soft fabric. How is that possible? Because, Bella said, her voice steady and sure, you're being true to yourself. This is who you are, Jay, and it's a beautiful thing. Jay's gaze met hers, holding it for a long moment as the truth of her words sank in. Thank you, he said softly. Bella's eyes sparkled, a hint of moisture gleaming in their depths. You're welcome, she whispered. Now let's get you some heels. Heels? Jay's voice rose in surprise. You want me to wear heels too? Bella, her face alight with enthusiasm, nodded vigorously. Of course, the dress deserves some fabulous shoes. And, she added with a mischievous grin, they'll make your legs look amazing. Jay's eyebrows shot up, a flush of excitement mixed with apprehension spreading across his face. They will. Oh, yes. Bella's eyes sparkled with anticipation. Trust me, you'll feel even more amazing once you're all dolled up. Now let's see what we have here. She bent, rummaging through a box at her feet, and straightened, a triumphant smile spreading across her face. Ah, here we go. I think these will do nicely. Jay's eyes widened as she held up a pair of strappy silver sandals. Jay bit his lip, his eyes flicking uncertainly to the shoes, and then back to Bella. They're beautiful, he said softly, a mix of wonder and trepidation in his voice. I know, right? Bella's grin was infectious. And just wait until you try them on. They'll transform you. Jay swallowed, his heartbeat quickening. Transform me? He repeated, his voice a little breathless. Bella's eyes sparkled with excitement as she set the shoes aside and reached again into the box. We're almost there, Jay. Just a few more touches and you'll be ready for your big reveal. Jay's eyes widened. My big reveal? Bella's nod was confident, assured. We're going to show the world the new you, and I know just the place to start. She pulled out a pair of stockings and held them up. Jay's eyebrows shot up. Stockings? With a laugh, Bella nodded again. Oh, yes, we can't have you going out there with bare legs now, can we? Jay's eyes widened further, a mix of surprise and intrigue playing across his features. I suppose not, he stammered, his voice catching slightly. It's just, there's so much to think about. I know, Bella said, her tone sympathetic, even as her eyes twinkled with amusement. But that's what I'm here for, to guide you through this transformation. And trust me, Jay, she added, her voice softening. It's worth it. Jay held her gaze for a long moment, uncertainty warring with curiosity and a growing sense of excitement. At last, he nodded. Okay, he said, his voice firm and resolute. Let's do this. Bella's smile was brilliant, her eyes shining with a mix of pride and anticipation. Wonderful! She held up the stockings. Now step in and we'll get these on. Jay complied, his movements careful and deliberate as he stepped into the soft, sheer fabric. Bella smoothed the stockings up his legs, her touch gentle and sure. There, she said with satisfaction, stepping back to admire her handiwork. Perfect. Jay peered down at his legs, his eyes widening at the sight. Wow, he breathed. I can't believe the difference. They look elegant. I told you! Bella's smile was triumphant. How do you feel? Jay considered this, taking another cautious step. I feel. He paused, searching for the right words. Empowered, he finished, his voice soft but strong. Like I can take on the world. That's the spirit! Bella clapped her hands together, her eyes sparkling. Now shall we finish this look? Jay swallowed, a flush of anticipation warming his cheeks. Yes, he said, his voice firmer now. Let's do it. Bella's smile was bright, delighted. She bent and rummaged in the box once more, this time producing a small, shimmering pendant on a delicate silver chain. Here, she said, holding it up. Try this on. Jay took the necklace, his fingers brushing Bella's as he did so. A spark passed between them, an unspoken connection that made Jay's breath catch. It's beautiful, he murmured, his eyes never leaving Bella's as he fastened the clasp at the nape of his neck. It suits you, Bella said softly, her gaze intense, her thumb gently brushing his jaw. Jay's lips parted slightly, a warmth spreading through him at her touch. It does, doesn't it? He whispered, his eyes fluttering closed for a moment as he savored the sensation. Jay, Bella said softly, her voice carrying a mixture of wonder and anticipation. You're stunning. He opened his eyes, his gaze locking with hers. I am, aren't I? He said, his voice steady, full of newfound confidence. I feel incredible. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.